every pick. What's the best pick in every single round? We're breaking that down here on the Fantasy Football Show on this 8 p.m. edition, Monday through Friday edition, breaking news show edition. Best pick in each round begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
We have a little bit of breaking news real quickly before we jump straight into the best pick in every single round. At least at round 4, 5, or 6, we'll probably do it. And we'll discuss like which ones we're debating. So it's not like I'm going to give you like 5 names. We're going to go through the top 5 rounds of a draft that I'm in the middle of right now. I grabbed a random draft. I haven't even looked at it yet. I haven't even taken a glance at the draft yet. I just grabbed a random draft to do this randomly to use ADP data. Real quickly, I wanted to say that we have this piece of news here. There's a couple pieces of breaking news. Commanders hired Anthony Lynn, formerly of the 49ers, as their run game coordinator. This is fantastic news. This adds another really solid look. Shanahan creates a good coaching tree. Shanahan has a good scheme. Shanahan is a great teacher to his coaches below him. There's no debating that. Anybody who says Shanahan coaching tree isn't one of the best really ever, they don't know what they're talking about. Everybody thinks I always threw a lot of shade and hate and slander on Shanahan and the Niners. I give props where props are due. And Shanahan creates amazing coaching candidates for other teams, and they get ripped from the Niners like crazy. And this is a great hire. Aggressive hire for team, the Washington Commanders. Offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. You've got Adam Peters, a Niner coming over. Adam Peters, an absolute scouting monster, is now GM in Washington. Brings over Kingsbury, brings over Anthony Lynn. It's a phenomenal coaching staff. And this Dan Quinn defensive-minded head coach with Kingsbury and Lynn and Adam Peters above the puppet master is going to do wonders. This Washington Commander team's turning around like that. It's going to be glorious. I'm here for it. That's one piece of news that dropped today. We'll get through the news real quickly. Then we're going straight into let me pull this up real quick. We'll go straight into the best pick in every single round. I've even got the draft board up right here. This is what we're going to work with. This is a draft that's ongoing right now. It's on the clock in the 6th round, at the end of 6th round. So we'll go through rounds 1 through 6 and break it all down. So buckle up, buttercups. We're going for it. Spags, Chiefs signed defensive coordinator Steve Spags, bringing him back, a contract extension. The Chiefs don't mess around. Look at the defense just did. Look what the defense just did. This is how you operate an organization. It's phenomenal. They're not letting him go anywhere. They're going for a three-peat, and they're doing it live. And I have mad respect for this type of quick reaction and for what Spags did here. When I say that he wants to stay and finish what he started. And this is where he wants to be, and he doesn't want to be, he's not going to get tempted and pulled away. This man wants to be right here, right now, with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's a fantastic freaking move for the Chiefs and for Spags himself. And then this last piece of news here, and this is new news. I'll briefly touch on what's going on screen in case you missed it. 49ers have fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, kind of the scapegoat here. Shanahan has botched this entire last couple days, really, last week, entire week. Very poor coaching performance against the Green Bay Packers several weeks back. Very, very poor coaching performance against the Detroit Lions, and very poor coaching decisions against the Kansas City Chiefs. and getting lucky in this matchup, and run the luck running out in this matchup. And I knew that the scapegoat would probably be Wilks. It was. I'm not saying Wilks was perfect, but if I read this NBC Sports report on this situation, you kind of like wonder, wait a minute, why is everybody down on Steve Wilks? Now they call him sideline Steve because they had to bring him down from the box. He was coaching from the box. It wasn't going well. Things were not clicking entirely. They brought him down to the sideline. Things got better. They called him sideline Steve. The entire fan base loved him. They called him sideline Steve. They kept praising his name, and then he started doing bad again, according to the fan base and to some metrics. And then they wanted him gone. The fan base, I would say 40% wanted him gone. Outside of the Niner fan base, though, it's a very different story. This is from NBC Sports. Shanahan scheduled a surprise press conference to announce the news earlier today that they were firing Steve Wilks. The move comes as a bit of a surprise given how well San Francisco's defense played in Wilks' first season and only season as a defensive coordinator. The 49ers finished the regular season ranked 3rd in points allowed and 10th in EPA per play allowed. Shanahan also alluded to about a week ago that there would be probably no coaching changes, but he's going to go ahead and pull the blanket out from this one. And on top of that, there were several reports that Shanahan actually overruled Wilks' calls, or at least one crucial call near the end of the game. And you got to wonder, what call did he overrule? That'll probably come out. And if it was one of the plays that gave up some huge play to the Chiefs, why is Wilks out? It's a scapegoat thing. It really is what it is. Shanahan has not done a good job the last handful of weeks. Has he done great with this team? Did he get this team here? Yeah. And that goes back to my whole point earlier of last show and the show before, is like, how would you replace him? Who would you put in there? I'm not saying I have an answer. I'm not saying that getting rid of him is necessarily the answer. I think that if you took him away, maybe you wouldn't get the same offense. Maybe you wouldn't make it to a Super Bowl. Is he going to win one, though, if you keep things the way they are? No. You've got to somehow, some way, figure out a way to help him make decisions that he's not good at making. And he's got to be not so stubborn to accept the help. Now, my guess is that they'll bring in a clock management advisor. They'll bring in somebody that's going to advise him. No one's going to overrule him, and he's going to be too stubborn to really take it in and absorb it. And when he was asked, did he make a mistake not informing his players of the new overtime rules, he said, I didn't go over it with them. I let the special teams coach or assistant or whatever, I think it was, advise everybody about it, but he didn't go over it with the team. And does he think it had an impact? He doesn't think it had really an impact. Even though several key players, a lot of players said they didn't realize the new overtime rules, whereas the Kansas City Chiefs knew it. And Travis Kelce was saying he was laughing because when they decided to let the Chiefs have the second opportunity and they wanted to receive the football, he was like, what? And they just literally gifted the Kansas City Chiefs a huge advantage. The Kansas City Chiefs a huge advantage. Kelce was laughing. Him and his brother were talking on their podcast today. And it's like, it's just a big coaching error. Ayuk might want out. Ayuk is going to request a trade. I can almost guarantee it. And before Bob comes in and says, Smitty, he's not going anywhere. Smitty, Ayuk's not. This is clickbait. Smitty, he ain't going anywhere. When did I say he was going somewhere? I said he was going to request a trade. Requesting a trade and getting traded are two different things, Bobby boy. Because requesting a trade facilitates the conversation and it applies the pressure. It's not that he necessarily wants to go anywhere. Tyreek Hill didn't want to go anywhere. He requested a trade to get the ball rolling. And guess what? The cap space isn't there to do anything, maybe later, let alone now. So the odds are this guy's going to request a trade, and he's going to hold out. And guess what happened last time? Deebo Samuel animosity between fan base. The fan base is already going at his neck in little tiny increments here and there. And this guy is I want to say, I'm not saying anything negative about his character or anything like that, but this guy's not Debo. Debo's a very playful, likable, big smile on his face, hardworking. Not that he's not hardworking, but just trying to paint a picture of Debo. He's hardworking, smile on his face, probably one of the most quality character guys on the team. This is a player you want everybody to emulate. Debo Samuel. He got such a poor, he was so poorly treated by half the fan base at least when he wanted a trade, trying to get his bag, and everybody crapped all over him. I was on there defending him to the Niner fan base, and if you were there, raise your hand if you remember seeing me on Instagram getting blasted by Niner fans because I'm going to bat for Debo. And everybody says I hate the Niners. I don't hate the Niners. I don't hate on the Niners all the time. I went to bat for Debo over and over and over while the fan base, the Niner fan base, slandered him, called him names, get him out of here. And he's the most likable guy you could come across. Again, not trying to say that he's not likable, but you're about to see that the Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, the way they talk to the media and the way they come off are going to be very different. My guess is he potentially drives a little more animosity. I think people are not going to like the way he approaches this thing. His Instagram's already scrubbed for the most part. There's no mention of Niners in his profile. He's been posting things cryptically. Actually, not even cryptic stuff. It's been very blatant. Don't forget how what got you there. That's him. His best friend, who we thought was his brother when he first posted this because of what he said in here, but he said this is the exact reason why we're leaving San Francisco, and said thank you 49ers for drafting my brother. We are forever grateful. And it didn't feel like he was calling him like his pal or something, his buddy. Everyone's like, brother, is that his brother? Like maybe from another mother? What's going on here? Divorced family? Like what's the situation here? Ends up being just his best friend. And then he says, BA to Vegas.
You've just been Smitty
BA to Vegas? What in the hell's going on here? We're not happy. Attention. We're not happy with what's going on here. We want to win a Super Bowl. Ayuk was asked, hey, are you coming back to San Francisco? And he said, if the deal's right, if it's a good deal, I'll be back. Well, what constitutes a good deal? Debo's answer? I'm sorry, did I say Debo? I kept saying Debo. Ayuk, do you want to come back to San Francisco if it's a good deal? Mind you, he's going to have a 1-year option picked up. He's playing. He's under contract. He will be under contract. There's no, he can't just walk away and go somewhere. He's under contract. So they're asking him, even though you're under contract, are you coming back to San Francisco, even though you have no say? And he says, if it's a good deal, what constitutes a good deal, Ayuk? This is his demeanor. This is why I think he's going to drive animosity even more than Debo, because he's kind of it comes off a little bit like callous and a little bit of almost a baby. And he goes, Super Bowl. Super Bowl. And you want to go? And you want to go to Vegas? You want a Super Bowl's your conclusion, and you want to go to Vegas? Are we out of our minds here?
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Now, this could just be his buddy off his rocker, but and some are going to say don't listen to what his family says. Listen, his girlfriend, fiance or girlfriend, also said, this is probably the last time Braylon, his son, Braylon and I are going to be here, whatever, and probably won't be here anymore. Probably headed elsewhere. Last time we'll be playing on this field. Last time we'll be over here. Because we're going elsewhere. His girlfriend / fiance, whatever she is, that he has a kid with, might be his wife, but I think it's his girlfriend. She's saying it. The best friend's saying it. And then the best friend says this on social media. And we're almost done here. I know some of you have heard some of this, and I don't mean to regurgitate anything, but it's important stuff, and it's what's in the news right now, and it's evolving. It's not like just sitting there stagnant. It's getting different and evolving, and Wilkes gets fired, and it's getting piled on. Niners are in shambles. And that you could say, oh, they're not in shambles or whatever. They're in shambles. The Niners are in shambles right now. Could they recover? Yeah. Can they pick the pieces up? I'm not saying they can't, but they're in shambles. The friend says, why does your all-pro 1,300-yard receiver have 3 catches in the Super Bowl? And people might say, oh, don't listen to his brother and his girlfriend. Listen to him. Right after he posts that, Debo piggybacks off of that. And where's this graphic here? I have it somewhere. Debo piggybacks off of his buddies, his best friend's graphic, and puts this up right after and says, yep, 3 catches. Why does he have 3 catches? Boom, Debo drops this, shows his jersey, the one on the left, Super Bowl, looks crispy. Looks like maybe he had some food or something. He may have dropped on here when he's waiting to get on the field or something like that, because it doesn't look like he got tackled. 3 receptions, his buddy says, and Debo, sorry, I keep saying Debo, because the holdout, I'm just tying it to Debo's holdout. Ayuk, who's going to hold out, has a crispy white clean jersey, and he's piggybacking off of what his best friend said. Okay, and then people say, oh, Smitty, they're going to extend him. He's going to hold out, though. It doesn't matter if they extend him. Animosity. Not in tune with this team. If you're a Niner fan, your team's in shambles right now. The last thing you need is your star wide receiver not there the entirety of the offseason, because your coach and your GM and your organization want to do it the Niner way. Let's extend them in August. It's the Niner way, though. I don't care. The Niner way of extending players in August is the wrong way. Maybe change it, because you're going to create animosity in an offseason full of drama. Things are unfolding. Do it right. And can they even extend them? This is from my boy. This is not from me. This is from a Niner fan page, a very pro-Niner fan page. Comes at me all the time. You've seen him in here, C-Mac. C-Mac says this. He says the following. I'll read it to you. The 49ers' top 8 cap hits for the 2024 season is an estimated $198 million in damages after adding on Brandon Ayuk's fully guaranteed 5th-year option. That is not an extension. That's just adding the 5th-year option, the cheapest choice to keep him. That would put the team at an estimated $212 million of cap space used. The cap space is projected to be between $240 and $245 million in 2024, meaning the Niners would have in the range of $28 to $33 million for the remaining 44 spots on the roster. The 49ers front office has a dreadful task ahead of itself this offseason. This is not my words. I made sure to go find an independent Niner Pro biased source to give you the bad news if you're sitting here going, it'll be okay. It'll be okay, Smitty. It will be okay. Expect a trade request to hit news wires at some point in the very near future, because this man is not Deebo Samuel. I'm not saying that, trying to rip on the guy. I love Brandon Ayuk. There's nothing wrong with Brandon Ayuk. I'm sure he's a good dude. I'm not saying he's a bad dude on any level. I want to make that abundantly clear. But Deebo Samuel is a much more, I would say, easy to, I think, negotiate with, I would imagine. Less likely to lash out in the media, less likely to have an attitude. This is more of a diva type wide receiver. Everybody called Deebo a diva because he held out and wanted a bag. He didn't hold out in a diva fashion like this guy's capable of doing. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying, if you think here's my point. I'm not saying he's a bad guy at all. But if you think the fan base is not going to be as rough or worse on him, who's going to come off kind of like, not answering questions, I'm just here so I don't get fined, Marshawn Lynch type answers, that's Ayuk. Ayuk very much is very sharp, very, I would say, you could say, I don't know, like flustered. He gets very flustered. He doesn't quite, I think out what he's going to say, and he makes it look like you're wasting his time. When he's being interviewed about this stuff, he acts like you're just a bother. You're wasting his time. Deebo was smiling and go, well, I just want to get on the field. Like, I think the fans are going to say, wow, why were we so mad at Deebo? This guy could drag it out, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to get his extension. I'm just saying the Niner team, the Niner organization will not do this properly. You already saw what it did to Debo. Debo had a horrible year. Not this year. The year prior to this past year, Debo held out that offseason leading in. Debo had one of the worst seasons he's ever had. And he admitted it was because he wasn't in sync. He was out of shape. And even if this guy's in shape, works out with Derrick Henry, chains around his neck all off season long, gets fed meatloaf by Ma every single day. Doesn't matter. You're still out of sync. The team's in shambles. They need to be unified. And if Shanahan and Lynch don't understand the importance of getting everybody together, when your team's in shambles, and you don't say, let's all come together and the world's against us right now and we could all be together and fix it from the inside out. No, he's going to think it isn't important. We got other fish to fry. We got to do this, we got to do that. And maybe they do. And C-Mac's numbers make it hard to know what's going to happen. I don't have all the answers, but I do know if you are planning on extending him, you better do it now. Don't wait till later and not have this thing fixed, because it's ridiculous. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. News is out of the way. It's time for the best pick in every single round. Let's do it live. I have not even looked at this draft. I'm already seeing values I love. I'm seeing some guys that went quite high. Let's go ahead and kick this off. Let me get a different marker on here. Let's go with this one here. I like this one. Let's go with this one. Okay, so we're going to highlight a player, and I'm going to tell you my favorite pick in every round. You guys can drop yours as well. Here is my favorite pick in every single round. Let's start off with round one. Of course, you love McCaffrey, but we're not here to talk about like obvious calls. We're here to talk about players that feel like the best value grab. He's 28 years old. There's certainly a lot of upside. If you ever get the one pick in a best ball, Underdog Fantasy, and you're looking at Underdog Fantasy's draft board right here. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. I'm dropping that link in the live chat right now. Go ahead and click the link, sign up, and they'll double that first deposit. You'll also be ready to go when we decide to do a whole bunch of drafts over and over and over. So buckle up, buttercups, get your Underdog account going and do it live now, so you're not trying to scramble to sign up last second and then you don't get in because you're like, oh, I didn't do it when Smitty said last time. I'm going to pin that link. Link's pinned. It's in the live chat for anybody that's watching the replay.
Motion detected at the front door.
Christian McCaffrey's not necessarily not the best pick. In some arguments, you could say if you get the one pick, that was what I was going to say, you should use it on Christian McCaffrey a lot of the time, just because you'll never have other opportunities to, and you might as well explore those Christian McCaffrey built teams from the one. I think some of the mistakes we made, and I admit this to myself, is Bijan. He's going 6, right? This is kind of where he's going last year, about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, even kind of a little bit later, more like 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Bijan, if you remember, we were drafting him at 2, 3, 4, and I admit I kind of probably didn't help matters by doing it publicly, showing you guys public facing that I was just like, screw it, I'm taking him. We need to pick our spots. Like if the ADP of Bijan Robinson is 6 or 7 or 8, then allow that to happen naturally and just do enough underdog drafts where you've got an equal share of all these draft slots. And if you're going to get the one spot, here and there, okay, you're going to get the one spot here and there. Let me drop this. Let me pull this up and drop this down. I don't know why this is bothering me. I'm going to put myself over here. So if we say to ourselves, okay, we're going to get Bijan here over and over and over, right? Why in the hell would we take him here, here, and here when we are not going to get Christian McCaffrey at 5, 6, 7? We're not going to get CeeDee Lamb at 5 or even really 4. We're not getting JJ at 5, 6, 7. Explore these ADPs. Always pick the best player available, but don't force players just because you want them every single time. Understand you're going to have enough Bijans at 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't need to force it. The best pick in this round so far is really at this point, these are all good picks. I love Jamar Chase at 4. It's pretty good. Tyreek Hill, you start sniffing potentially the best pick of the draft so far in this round, at least, because he is capable of 1 or 2. And that's a big jump. Like, when you think about it, if you could double your ADP, well, Tyreek Hill going at 2 overall is more than doubling his ADP. He's delivering quite well, just because it doesn't feel like a whole round climb. We're talking about lesser numbers here. The percentage of climb is huge. If you're number 5 overall and you play like 2, you're absolutely crushing it. I like Hill a little bit. Bijan I like a little more. Breece Hall I like even a little more. Amon-Ra I love. Kyren I like a little more. Puka Nacua, I'm starting to love that. And Jahmyr Gibbs, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? We got a couple super chats real quickly. Let me get these super chats out of the way. Boss Horn Deckard says, nice! Coming in with the super chat. Appreciate you, Boss Horn Deckard. Appreciate you so much, my guy. Superfish coming in strong. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well, everybody, especially Superfish dropping the $5 holler. Miss Smitty, Little Smitty, Pooch Smitty, and the entire family. Thank you very much. Appreciate you dropping the $5 holler. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Say Word says, Ayuk fell in love with the Raiders facility. I know. BA to Las Vegas. What? Thank you, Say Word. You aren't kidding. That facility must be glorious. We've got a $20, our first Boss Horn Holler from Perps, dropping a 20-watt. Happy Valentine's Day to Smitty, Miss Smitty, Medium Smitty, and Little Smitty. Hope you guys have a great day, says Perps, dropping the wad. Perps going nuts already.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Perp walk! Perp walk. Appreciate you, Perps. Perp dropping another 20 watt. Look at this guy. Absolute straight legend and monster. Just on this channel.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Perps, appreciate you. Perps says happy Valentine's Day, chat. Hope you all enjoyed the day too. Sorry I'm late. No problem, Perps. You probably wouldn't have liked some of what I ranted on the news anyway, because I know you're a little bit, think a little differently, which is fine on the Shanahan situation, but we had to drop the Wilkes news. It triggered a few more Ayuk stuff. Just kind of recapping. It's important stuff, and I know what some people might say, Smitty, didn't we already talk about this? Smitty, move on, the 2024 season. I am. I do sometimes an hour and a half show. There's a lot of content, you know what I mean? And if we got to break the news again and some of it's repetitive, don't you worry. Don't you worry, your little hearts. I will absolutely deliver new news in a different way and digested more of it. And Wilkes getting fired added to the puzzle. But this is the hottest topic. People are like, why are you talking about the Niners? Or the Niners were just in the Super Bowl. They just lost. And this is a huge, huge unraveling right now of the team. And it's all in front of everybody. Why do I have this echo going on? What is going on here? I have a straight echo. There, is that better? Good God, that whole entire time I had this echo going on. Okay, anyway. Smitty, why is the sound so bad? Because both mics are on. I've got an echo. Okay, we should be a lot better now. This should be a whole lot better. What were we saying here? Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh. Here we go. Let me get rid of the echo there. God, that probably sounds so much better. I'm sorry about that. I should have saw that coming. Perps dropping the 20 watts. Thank you, Perps. Guys, I have to say, the steals of the first round are, I mean, it's like a big freaking like 7-way almost tie, right? But we got to pick. I'm going to probably narrow it down. I'm going to say I love Bijan. I love Breece Hall. Breece Hall could be the #1 overall player that's a non-quarterback. So this feels like very, very solid. I'm going to say it's Kyren and Gibbs, though, because you're getting them just a little bit later. All 4 of these running backs could be the running back 1. Gibbs could be running back 1. Kyren could be running back 1. Hall could be running back 1. Bijan. You know, I'm going to say it's these 4. This goes back to the whole thing. Like, look, did we have an echo all yesterday too? Did I have that on all yesterday? I don't know. It's weird. I'm seeing it now, and I didn't notice it yesterday. I don't know. This goes back to, hey, Smitty, you should go wide receiver early because blah, 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 blah. Content creators everywhere saying go wide receiver, wide receiver. Running backs just get injured. Everyone got injured. The quarterback position was decimated. The running backs were decimated. The wide receivers were decimated. Tyreek Hill wasn't even there at the end of the day. Jamar Chase was banged up. JJ was out. Cooper Kupp was out. The wide receivers were decimated. I venture to say that you're better off trying to get a wide receiver in this round number 2 than you are an RB. There are a couple RBs, but look, 3 RBs lingering in round 2. That's it. That's it. If you go wide receiver and Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, and Barkley are all gone, what are you going to do? ETN's there. He's down in round 3. That's pretty good. That's it, though. I mean, I'm not taking Rachaad White in the second round. You out of your mind? I'm not taking James Cook. Look how thin oh my God, look how thin the RBs are. Derrick Henry's good value late. It's hero RB season. Or if you get lucky, it's double RB. You get Achane and one of the big 4 running backs that we're talking about here, and then you just start hammering away at wide receivers. But certainly is potentially going to be one of the most amazing early running back, first round running back groups that we're going to have for quite some time. And so on that note, I'm going to say my best pick of round 1 is in order of probably their reverse of their draft ADP here. Gibbs is the best pick right now if he's falling to 11. Kyren, the next best. Hall and Bijan. And that you might say, well, that's disrespectful to these receivers, but they're going really high. I love St. Brown. AJ's too high for me. Especially not knowing, with the animosity there between him and the team. We don't know how that's going to go. Where is he going to get traded? Probably won't be, but could he? Gibbs, Kyren, then Hall, then Bijan. We head to round 2. Drop your favorite picks, and I would love to see what they are. Round 2. Garrett Wilson's pretty good at 13. DJ Moore's too high. Nico's too high. I know you love him. I love him too, but it's too high. It's just too high. It's not like it's something that it's not like it's something we can look past and say, well, he's got to perform so far and above what he's capable of. I don't think this is a wise move to draft Nico Collins anywhere near the top of round 2. Marvin Harrison Jr., it's a little high, but I do believe he is can't miss special. And I do believe we're going to get potentially a Puka Nacua type of season out of him, and he'll certainly earn this. Are we a little depressed that this will be kind of near his ceiling? Yeah, but is he worth it if, let's say, you go Bijan or Hall and you don't like these wide receivers here? You're worried about Ayuk. You don't want Diggs. Rashee Rice is just too high for you. I think he's a really solid pick, but I don't know if I love Rashee Rice at the top or even middle of round 2. It's like Nico. I love him, but I don't know what I'm willing to spend on him. So Marvin Harrison Jr. becomes a safeguard or safety net in this like 16 to like 24 territory for me, to where I would take him, even though the upside's a little bit like capped when he's going that high. Still, the draft so far is Devon Achane. Bring it down, boys. Lower him. Good. Perfect.
Devon Achane, please report to your shuttle to Saturn. Your shuttle is leaving. Prepare for departure. Touchdown probability high.
Touchdown probability is very high. This is the best pick in the second round so far. By far, my favorite pick in second round. It looks glorious. Jonathan Taylor's pretty damn good too. Like, guys, this is good value for him, especially in a dry round 2 for RB. I think ETN belongs in the tail end of 2. I don't know why ETN's falling
Detected at the front
this far. It doesn't make much sense. I think Rashee Rice is too high. Look, I love him. This is not me not liking Rashee Rice. You can't say, Smitty, you're sleeping on Rashee Rice. I'm not sleeping on Rashee Rice. He just is going to. It's hard to imagine him having even a little bit of a struggle. Just a little bit of a rude awakening walking into this next season, and then he starts off slow, or they bring in another big name wide receiver. Hopkins comes over because he could get cut from Tennessee. It's certainly possible because they save some money. They might want to rebuild. They could keep him, but there's also other players that are free agents. I mean, look at the free agent wide receiver board. I'm not saying that these guys won't get franchise tag. We're already hearing that Higgins will be franchise tag. Pittman could be. Evans, Ridley. I mean, you give Evans or Ridley, and Evans could be he could work out a long-term deal or get franchise tagged. But, someone like that landing in KC could complicate this ADP. It can't complicate Rice. He'll still be good, but it'll complicate you spending a freaking 17, 19, 21 ADP, or draft slot on him. Ayuk, I already said this before all the drama, before the last 2-3 games. I don't like Ayuk in round 2. It's too high for me, and I certainly don't like it now. Barkley, I love this value because as much as he's an injury risk player, to me, if he goes in the 12-13 turn area, that's where it's like, okay, I do it, but I don't know that I love it. This is a whole round downstream. This is the 2-3 turn. And in a dry running back round, it's pretty damn good. This is pretty damn good. And where is he going to be? Houston, where's our Barkley board? Where is he going to be? Barkley probably climbs to 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, though. Know that. Right now, you can draft him on best ball in the anticipation he goes to one of these teams. But once he actually lands 100% in all reality in Houston or in a Chargers uniform, in a Harbaugh ground and pound offense, or Dallas. I think Henry goes to Dallas. I think Jacobs goes to Baltimore if I had to predict, and I think Barkley goes to Houston. But those are all guesses. We don't know. But the moment that Barkley is in another uniform and we know where he is, he's climbing. But for right now, that's a steal. But there is nobody that gets me more excited and absolutely ready to throw the boss horn up in the air and fire off some toots than Devon Achane at the freaking 17 overall. Let's toot one out on that note right now. Let's do it live. This one's for Devon Achane, baby. Say hello to my... Are we still in an echo? No, we aren't. Say hello to my little friend. Best pick in round 2, Achane. Best pick in round 1 in review is Gibbs, then Kyron, then Hall, then Bijan because of that pecking order. If the pecking order changes, you can imagine that I would reorder that, right? Because these are kind of ties for me. I love all 4 of these RBs. I love Hero RB. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Hero RB. Do you know what that stands for? It stands for glory. And let me spell it out for you, okay? Hero RB. This spells glory. And there's nothing better than going into a draft in 2024 if best player available allows it and you smash Hero RB to pieces. This is your round 1. Okay? Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, and you draft, let's say, Breece Hall in round 1. You've got your running back out of the way. You now, if best player available doesn't detour you, because you'll let it detour you if the right player falls, you're going to ignore running back for several rounds. The definition of Hero RB is changed from time to time. So, use your own definition. You do not need to go like 2 round 7, 2 round 6. You do whatever works for you. But now you can go wide receiver, QB, or wide receiver again. You could even go tight end, and then you get here and you start gobbling up in round like 6, 7, 8, you start going RB if it allows you to do it. RB. You get Blake Corum, you get Jonathan Brooks, you get Braylon Allen. You grab all the rookie running backs. You have Tajay Spears. You have literally an arsenal of RB to throw into your running back 2 rotation to go with Hall, and you beefed up the other positions because you didn't go running back 2 until much later period of time. That is hero RB. And that's what these gentlemen right here, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, and Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson all offer you. And they all have animations on this channel right here. Let's start off with the Kyron.
He's Kyron. He's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron. He can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson. I like long.
Get Breece.
Those 4 are your best hero RB running backs. If you don't get McCaffrey at 1 and don't try and play out hero RB with that 1.1 overall pick. So if you don't get 1.1 to go hero RB, and you can do it from here too. Bijan, Breece, Kyron, Jahmyr, do it live, hero RB. Now, let's say I decided to go hero RB. Those are your best 4 players. Your best pick in round 1 is those 4 players in that order. And if, let's say, Kyron went 11 and Gibbs went 9, my favorite player would be Kyron, Gibbs, etc. So it's the order that's making this work for me. If I took Kyron or Breece or Bijan in round 1 or Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm like, okay, I'm going hero RB, baby, and Achane falls, guess what I'm doing?
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Smash! Smashing's what I'm doing! Smashing's what I'm doing! Smashing Devon Achane! Do it live! Abort! Abort!
Alert! Alert! Panic mode initiated. Alert! Stand down order in effect.
We're standing down on the hero RB if Devon Achane's sitting there. We're just doing it. You get Kyron and Achane, you do it live. You get Bijan and Achane, you do it live. You get Breece Hall and Achane, you do it live. You get Jahmyr Gibbs and Achane, do it live.
Alert! Alert! Panic mode initiated.
Okay, so we got the round 1, round 2 out of the way. Let's go over to round 3. Best pick in round 3. Already recapped round 1 and round 2. Okay, where are we at? So we're at 24-25 turn right here. Adams, I don't hate it, but it's not the best pick in the round. It's not a horrible pick. It's not the best pick in the round.
Motion detected at the front door.
Ziggy, show me the front door. Sam Laporta ain't bad. Sam Laporta ain't bad in round 3. Not the greatest round 2 guy. Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
But I like it. He's in the running, right? He's in the running already. We're going down the pecking order. Tank Dell is solid in round 3. I like that a lot. Ziggy off. ETN. The reason I'm not going to say ETN is because ETN is going to go higher than this on average. In fact, let me just pull up the ADP data, because if the ADP data doesn't say that he's going later than that, then we're going to maybe we might make ETN the best pick in the 3rd round. That's going to be kind of shocking because I wasn't expecting it, but certainly could be the case. So let's pull up the rankings and ADP data on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. That link is pinned in the live chat if anybody wants to do a draft. Maybe tonight. We're definitely going to go Graveyard Dynasty tonight. I'll try to go Graveyard Draft tonight, but we'll definitely go Graveyard Dynasty. I know I haven't been making a bunch of the Graveyard Drafts the last 2 or 3 days, but I'm here every day at 8 p.m. No one else does that, and I just, been taking a couple graveyard shifts off to recuperate while I go live every single day anyway. What are we looking at here? ETN, right? ETN's ADP is, wow, 30 overall. holy crap, this is even higher than his ADP. His ADP is 30.7. ETN might be the best value in round 3. I love Tank Dell. I love Laporta. Keenan Allen, Mike Evans. Jalen Hurts is fantastic. I would say my favorite, especially the end of round 4 or 3, my favorite values in this round, I think because Mahomes is still in 4, Stroud's in 5, Joe Burrow's in 6, Anthony Richardson's in almost 6-round territory, and Mahomes is in 4. As much as I want to say Jalen Hurts at 36 overall is one of the biggest steals of fantasy football, and it really still could be, I think you still have amazing steals. I'm going to say he's definitely in the running, right? He's in the top 3 best picks of round 3. I'm going to go ahead and lock in ETN. Then I'm going to say Tank Dell, Laporta, and Hurts are all kind of tied, but I'm going to go ahead and say ETN. He doesn't deserve to be in round 3. There is some risk to ETN repeating what he did, but there's also a lot of upside, and they used him. They trust him. There's a lot of appeal there at 3rd round value. But I think you can't go wrong with Laporta, Dell. If Chris Olave gets a quarterback, he'll probably climb ADP, but I love Chris Olave if he gets a quarterback. If they keep things the way they are, it's like, it kind of feels like London last year, where it's like the talent's there, but you're worried about the ability of getting him the football. So Tank Dell, so Travis Etienne, then Tank Dell, Laporta, and Hurts are all tied. That's my round 3. Round 4, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is sticking out like a sore freaking thumb. There's Trey McBride, our Mars man that climbed up from the 60s all the way to 43. We knew it was going to happen. We beat the drum as hard as we can for as long as we could in making everybody go to Underdog Fantasy and draft McBride in the 6th round. He was going in the 6th round for weeks. It wasn't an error. It wasn't a day 1 ADP correction that had gone awry. For weeks, you could get Trey McBride in the 6th round. It was ridiculous. This is not crazy bad value, but I don't know that it's what it was. It was win a league material in round 6. This is still potentially could be, but it's not the best pick in the round necessarily. Zay Flowers, I like him, feels too high. Pacheco could be pretty decent value. I love Devontae Smith. If Devontae Smith falls in round 5, he is literally like win a league material, and I know he's breaching round 5, so there's not much of a difference of like being 59 or oh no, that's the beginning of round 4. I'm sorry. Yeah, so if he falls to the end of round 4, it's steal of the draft type material. Right here at the turn, the 3-4 turn, I still like it. I'm going to say it's up there, but it's not the best pick in the round. Kelsey's not bad. Like, look, I'm crapping on Kelsey all the time, left and right. He's going to, absolutely, heed the way, the road, give the road to Sam Laporta and Trey McBride. But I think 4th round value is not bad. It's a very good value. I would say without a hesitation, I like Cooper Kupp a little bit too in round 4 or 5. If Cooper Kupp were to slingshot around to the 5th round, he is a steal. I'll take the gamble. I really will. I love Cooper Kupp in round 5. I hate him in round 2, hate him in round 3, start to really like him in 4, and Cooper Kupp's a hero in round 5. That's the nature of ADP. You got to adjust and adapt to the ADP values, but sticking out like a sore thumb is Patrick Mahomes, 100%.
You've just been...
Like, I don't even understand this. This looks like somebody sat on the keyboard over at Underdog and accidentally added a number to his ADP, and it bumped him down. He's supposed to go in 2, and he's going in 4. I don't know if winning a Super Bowl will change this because people are fickle, but this is the best pick in round 4 without hesitation in my mind. Without a freaking hesitation. I love Kupp. I love Kelsey. I love McBride. I love London. I wish London was in round 5. If London was in round 5, he'd be absolutely the steal of round 5. But I like him here. I don't hate him here. He's definitely in the running here. Mahomes, Kelsey, Cooper Kupp, London, McBride, Pacheco a little bit. Yeah, Devontae Smith. All in the running for being an amazing pick in round 4 with Mahomes crushing it and being the leader. Love Stroud in round 5. The round 5 turn goes this way. So Jacobs isn't bad. Depending on where he goes, his value could climb a whole round and a half. If he goes to Baltimore and he's a starting running back tomorrow in Baltimore, let's just say we get a rocket ship, a time machine, we go to his signing and we just witness it. The ADP will go from 49 to the late 20s, maybe late 20s. Like, honestly, Jacobs in Baltimore, Jacobs in Houston, like, all people are waiting for is the word. Like, this is value. This is what screams get to underdog now, people. Draft these players that people are somehow waiting on. They're waiting on. What are you waiting on? You know he's going somewhere. Jacobs is going somewhere. You know, like, why wouldn't you? Like, even if he stayed in a Raider, like, he's still going to be worth way more than this value. And I'm not even a Jacobs. I've been a Jacobs, not hater, but a Jacobs avoid him for a while. This is good territory here. He's going somewhere. What is anybody waiting for? It's great value. I like Stroud a little more. I love Kenneth Walker. He's very risky, but this is like, there's no risk really here, especially if you couple him with Charbonnet again, and you assume that they're going to potentially do things differently with Pete Carroll gone. I know Pete Carroll loved him, but he certainly didn't love him as much as we thought he was going to because he didn't run him enough. I love JSN. Dunze's good. I don't mind this. Jaden Reed's, it's higher than I want it to be, but I love him. It's not bad value. He's just somebody we hope we get a lot later. We're not. Henry. How is Henry maybe going to be? He's almost turning into round 6. Late 5 into round 6. You're here. Look, I'm as shocked as you are. This is this is probably one of the best picks, one of the top 2 best picks of this round number 5. Because him like Jacobs, like Barkley, he's going somewhere. He's probably going to Dallas. I love this pick. I don't even know if he could stay healthy enough to get 10 touchdowns and 900 yards. I don't think he stays healthy all year. But if he goes to Dallas, I'm willing to write a blank check on a player I think is going to collapse at some point at any moment when it's late 5th round value. It's late 5th round value. If he was in the 2nd round and we're doing this again, I'm still going to draft him one more year as a top 10 running back. I'm out. I've been out. I've told you I'm out. I made a mistake last year. Anybody that doubted Derrick Henry last year got burned. But this is a formula that lands you more makes than misses because no running back in their 29, 30 on average is going to remotely be as good as they used to be. He's kind of an anomaly, and at this point, at 5th to 6th round value, I'll write a blank check. I think Henry's probably the best value. Him and AR5, I love AR5 at almost 6th round value. I love AR5. I love Henry. I like JSN a lot. I don't know that I love it, but I like it a lot. I love Walker here. I love Stroud here, and I really like Jacobs and could really get behind this if I even got any insight at all. He's going to like Baltimore, and we knew this was going to happen or something. But Henry's fantastic value there. The turn goes this way, and then down you got Alvin Kamara. You've got McLaurin, Kittle, Tajay Spears is a little higher than I want it. Again, this is like Jaden Reed. This is not me saying I don't like Jaden Reed here. I'm just like, damn it. Why did he climb so high? I like him there still, but now it's not, big, huge, like no one sees it coming type swing. Tajay Spears, like, how do you get this high? How do you get almost up there with Derrick Henry? Like, Henry's right here. Tajay Spears is literally just around the turn and right here. It's crazy. Monty, Nick Chubb, Christian Kirk. Why is Kirk there? Joe Burrow, Godwin. I'm going to say Burrow. And I like Kincaid a little bit here. I like Kittle a little bit here. I'm going to say, by far, I'm not excited about Chubb coming back. I'm going Joe Burrow. Eckler hasn't been taken yet. D. Hopkins hasn't been taken. Those are candidates to go probably here for me. And I really would like Eckler in round 6, 7. So, again, we're at the tail end of 6, and it'll loop into 7. Just like I love Henry in round... Henry's going right here at the tail end of 5. I love Henry at the bottom or the top of 6, like in this turn. And I really like him here. Enough to call him one of the best picks, if not the best pick of the 5th round. Feel the same way about Eckler at the 6, 7 turn, and I don't even like Eckler. We're writing blank checks that don't matter. Like, you could not be able to cash it, and you still could win your league, and there's no ramifications to missing with the upside that you're maybe getting there. I'm going to say maybe Eckler, who's not even on this board, Hopkins, Joe Burrow, and I like Kincaid a lot, but I almost want him like the next round, like where I love him. Spears is good here. It's just I wanted him so much later. Kamara, I don't know. I almost trust Eckler and Kamara about the same. So the fact that Eckler's going maybe in round 7, I like Eckler more. Those are my favorite picks in that round. That's every single round. Every single round. I've been getting a request for that video over and over and over. I think we should do that often. I think it's a great way to, I think, really nail down some sleeper candidates, who we really like, who's getting overvalued, who's getting undervalued. It's kind of like an ADP, lesson of sorts. And I think everybody's been wanting that for a while. I love that. Burrow Spears was great in round 6. Perps dropping yet another $20 super chat monster here. Perps, appreciate you. Perps says, hey chat, we have 115 watching and only 45 thumbs up. Let's smash that thumb up button for Smitty now. He's putting in the work on Valentine's Day and giving Miss Smitty a cold shoulder for us. And it's like, it's Valentine's Day and we don't have any meatloaf.
Alert.
Where's the meatloaf?
Super chat alert.
Meatloaf? Perps wants meatloaf. Oh. Sorry, no, Perps, I'd never throw you under the bus. Okay. Phone lines are open. Let's discuss ADP.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Not only do I want to discuss ADP, I very much want to discuss the Brandon Ayuk, Steve Wilkes, San Francisco 49er situation. And if anybody is tired of hearing about regurgitated content, that's okay, because you're not hearing regurgitated content. This is new takes, new callers, new information. Steve Wilkes has been fired. There's footage of Kyle Shanahan on the sideline now that is I have it. I'm going to put it on my Instagram later. That says, he goes, hey, we want to receive the ball when they're doing the coin toss in overtime. Receive the ball, so confirmation that it did come from Kyle. It wasn't the players that were uninformed. It's important information because the players didn't have no information and then make the call as a captain. It was Shanahan saying, Fred, we want the ball. Fred, we want the ball. He's like, okay, does the coin toss, and he goes, we want the ball. So this is Shanahan's command. And so a lot of people are saying, even if the Niners didn't know, a lot of the Niners, including a lot of important key components of this team, didn't know the new overtime rules, which is a complete whiff on Shanahan's part. It's crazy that, maybe it wouldn't have affected anything because Shanahan still wanted to receive the ball, but maybe you're fighting different. Maybe you're aware. And everyone said, Smitty, they're not going to fight different. Yeah, Zeus, D-Town, Zeus is going around 6'7". Zeus is a great value. Quorum and 7'8", that's great value. So Zamir White to the moon, to the freaking moon. Zamir White season. Love Zamir White. But his ADP is like another round later, so that's why we didn't really mention him, but he's a great player to throw out. I just think that, even though people will say, Smitty, how does that change anything? If the players knew the rules, why would they play different? They could have played different. You don't know. If you know that scoring doesn't necessarily end it, you just might play different. Knowing the stakes and knowing what's going on can definitely affect what you're doing, what you're thinking, the pressure you're under. Being misled, and not on purpose, but misled by your coach to think that this was going to go a certain way, or that it could have went a certain way, and to be completely oblivious to, no matter what, they get a shot to, even if we score, it just changes everything. It changes everything. It's the fact that you're not informed is a bad thing. Jacobs Dynasty excited to see where he goes, says Thomas. Yeah, I don't know how much I love his Dynasty value, but I do think, he's got a couple years, so as long as you're, not thinking 5-6 years. Do you do a video on unrestricted free agents outside of well-known players? Yeah, we do, Bob. I mean, I'll add to this list. Essentially, what we'll do is we'll just grow these, these wide receiver free agent lists. I mean, I got guys down here. The wide receivers, we got a lot of listed guys down here. Gabe Davis, Hollywood Brown. These are pretty deep guys. Odell. There are some other players. I'll throw more on it. There might be another player or two that I just spaced out on too, where I deleted on accident by hitting buttons. So if you see somebody got removed or something like that, let me know, and we'll definitely fix that. Kyron Williams, look at him. Look at him. Look at Kyron and Achane. Imagine having a team built with Kyron and Achane. Imagine having a team built with Gibbs and Achane. Imagine having a team with Bijan and Achane, or Breece Hall and Achane. It's just one of my favorite starts is going RB. Let's pretend we did that. Let's say we went Breece Hall and Achane, right? And so who's left from this side over for wide receivers? Okay, so you lose Debo, he gets drafted. Rice, Ayuk gets drafted. Diggs, Adams, Chris Olave, Dell, Michael Pittman, and you're back on the clock. Let's say it was this pick right here. You took, or no, we were saying from this spot, right? Let's say we took Breece here or Kyron here and Achane. So your wide receiver 1 would be DK, or you could go Mike Evans. You could go. That's not horrible. Like, it's not most ideal, but then again, like, is Debo DK? Is Rashee Rice DK? Is Brandon Ayuk DK? Is Diggs DK? Is any of that really less risky? Not really. So I would almost love the Breece Hall, Achane, DK, and then you could get a little bit like frisky and go Cup if you wanted, and go DK Cup, Achane Gibbs, or Hall, Achane, DK Cup. You could also get crazy and say, I'm gonna go Mahomes with one of those picks, and you literally could go like Hopkins later on if you wanted to, in hopes that he has a kind of a final one last hurrah type season. So if you had Kyron, Achane, DK, Mahomes, and Cooper Kupp, let's say, that's not that bad. Or I think my worst case scenario is this. This is, you guys tell me if you think this is the best way to go. Like, let's say you get Kyron, Achane, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, or Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. This is particularly easier, like over here somewhere. Sometimes Gibbs and Kyron, or you go Kyron and you go Achane early. Or let's just say you go Gibbs and Kyron. That's a duo I sometimes get at 12, 13. So Gibbs, Kyron, and Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith. Like, who doesn't like that? Raise your hand if you don't like that. That's a phenomenal team. And Devontae Smith as your number 1 wide receiver ain't bad when you draft him as your 3rd drafted player. I love this. This is probably my favorite draft right now. Gibbs, Kyron. You can't really see that. Let's go a little bit bigger. Let's go a little bit bigger, Smitty. Let's use this whole, you have this whole entire marker board, and you're deciding to write like it's, fine print. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. Guys, phone lines are open. Here's 5, here's 6. Let's say you go Gibbs, Kyron, Hurts, and D. Smith. Can I get a raise of hands of how amazing that start is? You punt wide receiver 1 in round 1. You punt wide receiver 1 in round 2. You punt wide receiver 1 in round 3. You still get Devontae Smith. You probably still get let's say you get a Cooper Kupp here. Let's say you get Cooper Kupp and Hopkins. I'm not saying that's who you have to take if you don't like these guys, but like, you still got a formidable wide receiver. One of these guys might fail due to age, but I mean, one of them might not. You get Devontae Smith. That's a freaking awesome start to a team. Who loves it? Who loves it?
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in, dial in, dial in, dial in. I restarted the phone lines in case they were not working. Which sometimes happens here on the Fantasy Football Show, Smitty. Sometimes the phone line's down. Wayne, appreciate you. Superfish, Bird, Bob, everybody in here. D-Town in the building. I'm kind of the what's this? I'm kicking the ball first in OT, but to each their own, says D-Town. Of course you're kicking the ball in OT. It's the massive advantage. It's like almost idiocy to not kick the ball. So you're in the right, D-Town. I'm sorry if anybody else said they weren't up there. I'm not calling anybody names. I'm just saying it's an advantage that nobody should be overlooking. The ability to decide what you're doing, what you're going for, when to do it. You know, like if you're on the 8-yard line and it's first down, you get all the way down, you get a first down, you're on the 8-yard line. You're literally, it's 4 down territory. You have 4 plays to work with. You don't have 3 going, we got to kick a field goal maybe. You literally have, it extends your like the advantages are mind-boggling different. You know, it's a difference, it's night and day difference. You guys are liking this team. I like it. I like this team. You don't have to like these 2 picks. These were just me filling in. I'd almost rather get rid of those so you guys can use your imagination and not ruin the setup with players you might think are toast. So Hurts, Devontae Smith. First of all, that stack is really fun, especially in best ball. And Gibbs and Kyron with it, or Hall and Kyron, or you know, if you get sniped, you could still go Gibbs and Achane if you want to go early. Freaking phenomenal. We probably won't be here super long just because we've already done a Rumble show. If you missed the Rumble show, I did it right before this one. Go watch it. It's on Rumble. Rumble is a link in the description that we got. The Rumble show, youtube.com/The Fantasy Football Show is what you're watching right now. Dynasty channel will be live on later tonight. That's a link in the description as well. Please be subscribed to the Dynasty channel, youtube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. And then we just went live on Rumble, rumble.com/The Fantasy Football Show. So go check out that Rumble video. I don't know if my phone lines are down anyway because I restarted them again. I don't know if people are able to get through. I might have to restart my whole system. But somebody dial in if you've got anything to say. You don't need to call in to test the phone line. If somebody has a topic, especially around the Ayuk situation, I'm not tired of talking about this. Some people might be, but it's evolving. It's literally evolving. Steve Wilkes getting fired is an evolution of this whole situation. Bob dropping a $5 holler. Bob, appreciate you. What players do you think will rise the most after the draft? Thanks for the show. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate you. If I had to guess, Bobby boy, I probably would say, let's go to the ADP board we were just looking at. Players I think will rise after the draft. I would probably say after the draft, my guy, you're probably Perps. Call back. I saw you there, and then it hung up. Perps, please dial back. I'm sorry if I don't think I hung up on Perps, but I think he hung up. But if we're looking at after the draft, so Jacobs, Henry, Barkley. Because once they become real, right now they're just paper players. You don't know what Barkley is. You don't know what Henry's down here. This is crazy value for somebody that doesn't want Henry at all. This is just insane. He's almost a 6th round pick. The risk is almost zero. Barkley is going to climb, but these guys will all climb once they become real. Right now they're figments of everyone's imagination. You're like, Barkley where? Well, Barkley in Houston's going to look like glory. Derrick Henry in Dallas is going to make him climb to the 3rd round probably. Mark my words. He's not going to stay anywhere near round 5. He probably won't even stay in round 4, almost guaranteed. Mahomes could climb a lot. Kelsey could climb a lot. Rashee Rice will either fall or climb depending on if they bring in another player. Free agency and draft, I think, are important to include in your question, Bob, because free agency could change a lot too. Marvin Harrison Jr. could climb a lot, or I mean, not a lot, but like he could climb to it's a lot for being in the top 15 already. Like he could climb to the 12, 13 turn really. Brandon Ayuk could climb or fall. I think Cook could drop a ton. I know you asked me about climbers. Olave could climb a ton if he gets a quarterback or fall. Tank Dell could climb or fall. I don't know. Pittman's way too high anyway. I hope he stays that high. I love that people are taking Pittman. Sometimes he goes at the tail end of round 2, which is freaking ridiculously high. Jalen Hurts could climb a little. I think Mahomes will climb. Stroud could climb a little bit when the buzz starts getting hot and heavy. Burrow may not, just because there's too many other quarterbacks that are sitting here. Pacheco could climb. Rashad White could climb. Rashad White needs to escape the NFL draft. If he does, he's going to climb quite a bit. Perps calling again. I don't know why I disconnected. Thank you, Bob, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Ron Navy, you're live.
What's up?
Yo.
I guess they're an scapegoat, so their defense coordinators, Shanahan's a scapegoat, huh?
Yeah, I mean, what I read off earlier, I read off the stats. They were third in points scored allowed, and they were 10th and what was the stat that I read you? I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. They were 10th in EPA per play allowed. They had a relatively good defense. It felt like they sold, given the talent that they had to the fan base. It felt that way, but from people on the exterior, most people don't think the defense was a problem at all. And some people on the exterior, outside of the Niner fan base, they say, "Hey, actually, you did pretty good against Patrick Mahomes for almost the entire game. He was able to break free through all that." And it is kind of weird to fire your defensive coordinator. And I'm not saying that I'll speak to this. I'll speak about this two ways. It's unusual to fire your defensive coordinator when he had a good year statistically for the most part, and you made it to the Super Bowl. And yeah, granted,
He's only been there a year.
You what?
He's only been a year.
Mm-hmm.
1 year.
It is crazy. It is crazy when you think about it. They just went to a Super Bowl. Like, why you?
How long has Shanahan been there? He's been to 2 previous Super Bowls. When do they start pointing the finger where it belongs? And when does the gauntlet come down on Shanahan? I can't wait to see who they fire or who they hire for their defensive coordinator now. But whoever it is, they'll run into the same problem. And if they have any success, it'll be taken away from them by Shanahan's failures. Yet again. Because Shanahan's responsible for knowing the overtime rules, for telling the players what the rules were, and everything else. Heck, the players. I mean, I would have liked to see somebody ball up, and Shanahan said, "Oh no, take the ball first." I would have said, "No, we're gonna kick it." If I was the player, I would have went against Shanahan because it's stupid.
So
you don't want to put the ball in Mahomes' hands second. You want to kick it off to him first, and that way you know what you got to do.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Like I said, it's almost idiocy to argue that you want the ball, because you get 100% control, and not to mention, like I said, if not only for let's say the other team scores a touchdown, and then you get the ball, and you're at the 10-yard line with your first and goal from the 10 or first and goal from the 9. You have 4 plays. Like, instead of saying, well, we're not sure if we have 4 plays, are we going to go for it or not? Let's try these 3 plays out. So it's just like, it's crazy to even argue it. But what I was going to say is, my other side of this argument is that, and this is not to say that Wilkes should have been fired, but if let's say Shanahan's assessment is correct, let's say there's stuff behind closed doors we don't know about. Let's say he lost the locker room. Let's say there's a lot of reasons we don't know about. Let's just say it's true. If he's deservingly needing to be fired, Shanahan held on to him all this time. Buffalo made a change. You can make a change mid-season. If it's such a bad move, like even keeping Moody. Moody was, yeah, he did hit some big kicks. I get it. But if Moody would have missed when it counted, and then everybody says, oh, we got to get rid of him. He's got it in his head. He's potentially going to miss this big kick because he did it in the preseason. He was in his own head. He gets nervous, and it would have been Shanahan's fault for not replacing him earlier if things went awry. That's part of being a head coach. And sideline Steve, they call him, Steve Wilkes, was in the box coaching, being a defensive coordinator for about half the year or whatever, and literally as a, kind of like when an employee can't really be fired yet. They want to go through the motions at the place of employment. They want to put them on a little probation plan, so they've got HR's got enough evidence to say we tried to work with them before we fired them. It was like, okay, Steve, we're gonna have you come down from the box, okay, and you're gonna be on the sideline because it's not working out. You open the box, maybe you'll see something different. So he came down to the sideline, and he did really well right away. And the Niner fan base was so excited; they loved him again. And look, I give the Niner fan base credit because they're very loyal. They love their people. They support their people. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to put that out there right now. But there is some goggle stuff going on here. Big, thick goggles. Everybody hated him. They wanted him gone. He comes down to the sideline. He has a couple of good games. They start calling him Sideline Steve. Fan base says he's the best. He's the best defensive coordinator in the league again. And now all of a sudden the fan base hates him again. And if he is needing to be nudged out, if it's whatever we want to argue or not, if it's fact, someone says it's fact, Shanahan waiting and not taking care of it when there was a problem enough to bring him down from the booth because he couldn't do his job, and you think putting him on the sideline is going to fix everything, then that's a fireable offense right there. Like, I get you can't fire Shanahan. I'm not a moron, but because you went to a Super Bowl and you literally had they stopped Mahomes from scoring a touchdown, everybody would be talking about how Shanahan did it. He's amazing. So I get you're like one play away from this different story being told, and I understand that. I'm not, like I said, maybe a little bit of a moron, but not a complete moron. I get what's going on. But at the same time, I get you can't just replace him, but he can't win. Like, he can get you there, but he can't win. This is like, I liken him to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, how are you going to replace Dak Prescott if you're the Cowboys? You can't. He's a great quarterback. He's not elite, but he's great. He's not even good. He's great. He's a great quarterback. Dak Prescott will probably never win you a championship. So does that mean you get rid of him? No, because who are you going to bring in? So I'm not saying the Niners, I have the answer for the Niners. I'm just saying that if he is going to bring you a Super Bowl, you have to figure out ways to contain him. You have to figure out ways to support him. You have to figure out ways to teach him and allow him to get help from others instead of taking play calling duties away from Steve Wilks during the game and the defense fails. You take, I don't know how many play calls he reversed Steve Wilks on, but there's word that he did it at least one or two times. He reversed his call and said, and if you lose the game defensively, if that was, and I don't know for certain, if that was on the final drive, then how are you going to fire this man? Like, it's crazy to me. But, it's, there. Look, as I said, I say this with empathy or, sorrow for my Niner people, is the Niners are in shambles right now. They got to try and turn this thing around. But this isn't, all of this stuff is just mounting right now. It's got to be tough to be a Niner fan right now. But I mean, you've got this and then the Ayuk situation ready to boil over. Just ready to boil over. I'm a Niner fan and I'm sorry, but you guys are wrong. Okay. Thank you. I didn't assume you to think differently. But it's okay. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, only you can do the memes justice, bro. I mean, you come up with some great memes and some great things. This is one you should think about doing. Is Shanahan's there, his phone rings, and hello? Yeah, this is your dad. What the hell were you thinking about taking the ball first? Somewhere along those lines. You can do justice to that meme. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll create a little cartoon about it. Ring, ring, ring.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a must. I want to see it. Because you do those so awesome, dude.
Anyway, thanks. Kind of crazy. In their cap situation, I've had a couple people come at me and say, Smitty, you don't know what you're talking about on the cap and everything. Look, these cap numbers, they're not even mine. These cap numbers are from CMAC Niner page, and he's such a pro Niner page. This guy will look at the positive and everything, and he goes at me constantly, and we're buddies. I love CMAC. And he's saying and his last statement here, the Niners front office has a dreadful task ahead of them. They have $28 to $33 million for the remaining 44 spots after you account for just the Ayuk, fifth-year option money, not any sort of extension for him. So when Lynch was asked, "Are you extending Ayuk?" he says, "We're going to do our best to extend Ayuk this offseason." He didn't say it's going to happen, don't worry, like he did with Debo. I don't know if you remember, but like Debo, it'll be fine. It's going to happen. We're going to take care of you, is what they said. He's like, we hope that we can take care of Ayuk. There's no guarantee they can. And there's no necessarily wrongdoing being done either, though. Let me just say that, because he's under contract. That's what the fifth-year option's for. While it's been standard practice and widely accepted in the NFL, and that's the NFL's fault, and that's the owner's fault, that's the team's fault, to make it standard practice for a breakout wide receiver or running back or whatever during their fifth-year option year, when they got one more year left on their contract, to really squeak out the extension right then and there, so they don't go and play and get hurt. Look at Jacobs. Jacobs wanted to leave as a free agent. It wasn't an option year or anything, but he wanted to leave, and they franchise tagged him. And he's like, "Come on, this is my time. I'm Jacobs. I just led the NFL in rushing." This is leading into this previous season. And what happened? Exactly what I said would happen. He'd crap the bed. The team wouldn't be able to do what they needed to do to give him room to run, and he'd sit out the ending part of the season, because he want to protect himself. He want to not necessarily get hurt. He'd get banged up, whatever. He sat out the last part of the season. What's Jacobs going to get this offseason? Probably a decent, bag and go to Baltimore. He's one of the top free agent running backs, so maybe it won't hurt him as much as it could have. Like he maybe escapes a little bit because there's not a lot of big options. And Barkley and him are the best younger options on the board. So it might be okay, but bottom line, what was I even saying? I don't know. Bottom line is, I think it was about Ayuk. I was just going to say that I believe that, that Ayuk is still, something about his contract. Damn it. It kind of still slipped my mind. Hold on. Perps is live on the phone. Perps, what's up? You're live.
What's up, Smitty? What's up, Ron?
What's up, Perps?
What's up, Perps?
Just enjoying a Valentine's evening.
Yeah.
Nothing too exciting.
Attaboy.
Snowing up here in Minnesota. Got 6 inches on the ground already.
Attaboy.
Last 4 hours.
Nice.
No, you were throwing shade at me earlier, right? I think you're taking my whole take wrong. I'm not disagreeing with anything that you're saying with the whole 49ers thing. I mean, there's 4 quarters in football.
Yeah.
You have 4 quarters to do something. You don't rely on overtime. The other thing is the NFL overtime rule changed in 2022. So last year when they played in the Super Bowl, it was the same rule as it is this year. So ultimately, the players have more take than Shanahan. Do you know your sport? Do you know your game? If you're going to play, I agree with your take that if you're the first team with the ball, you have the 4 or 3 downs because you're going to use your 4th to kick it, or the other way, you're going 4 all and out. But you got to play all out every play. You guys get paid millions of dollars. There's zero excuse. I mean, they should all know this before. It shouldn't have to go with being said.
But Perps, it's still the head coach's responsibility to emphasize the rules and emphasize those, make sure players are ready and they understand. Since when do we keep putting the blame on all these players, not just 49ers, but across the board? Everybody's putting the blame on these freaking players, and nobody's holding the head coaches responsible for their idiotic decisions or their bad coaching. What's the coach?
Yeah, Ron, I'm not disagreeing with that take. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think
Did Shanahan screw up? Is he at fault? Absolutely. But
I think Perps
the
is just
players
saying
got to take accountability too.
I think Perps is just saying there's multiple reasons, which I think what everyone's saying. I think the reason that might come off the way it is, Perps, and you don't have to. I'm not taking anything that you said or what I thought you said wrong. By the way, no shade thrown at you, my man. But I think when the reaction is that it's not Shanahan's fault. It feels like most people are going to take it. In my opinion, most people are going to take it like, okay, hey, this is like equal parts, going around, and like really you can't point fingers at Shanahan because there's so many other ways to point the finger. And I don't think you're wrong in that, like, of course, like I said, this came down to, do you stop Mahomes? If you stop Mahomes and the Niners win by 3, what do you think happens? Shanahan becomes, a statue figure to everybody. They're gonna get Shanahan tattoos. Everyone's gonna love him. He finally did it. They don't care how it happened. So, like, you're right. If that stop happened, he didn't do so much bad that people say, hey, we won, but good God, Shanahan, you almost lost it. Nobody would be saying that. They'd be like, Shanahan did it. It was a tough, gritty game. And so, to Perps's point, there are a lot of factors involved, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, like, Perps, the reason why I think we do circle back to, like, we do need to blame Shanahan. And had they won, it would have gone unnoticed what Shanahan botched the entirety of the playoffs. He played 3 horrible playoff games, really, from start to finish, until the end of both the first 2 games, and then it was the reverse, and it was back to his old tricks of taking his foot off the gas. He's also lost 3 Super Bowls, appeared in 3 Super Bowls, and in all 3 of them lost a double-digit lead. One as an offensive coordinator in Atlanta in the Tom Brady 28-3 Super Bowl comeback. Like, that was the most embarrassing comeback in the history of the Super Bowl and almost the history of football. 28-3. We couldn't believe our eyes. Tom Brady's going to lose. I can't believe Tom Brady's losing this. I remember I just about walked away from the TV. And I remember, and Shanahan gave up that 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. So it's like, at some point you got to say, when he gets there, he's going to screw it up. It doesn't matter how many times he gets you there. If that's all you're going for, he's your guy. But is he going to get there? Is he the fact that he didn't take accountability, Perps, like on camera when they said, hey, did your players know about the overtime rules? I should have, that's on me. Like, he said, no, I don't think it factored into it. Like, he's never wrong. He's never wrong. He never takes accountability for when things go awry and never says it's me. It's on me. Sorry. I should have did that. It's like he doesn't learn from anything. That's the part that I think really frustrates me, is I don't think he learns from anything. But you're wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Perps. I mean, there's lots of reasons.
Same thing.
But
same. He never takes responsibility.
Yeah.
Shanahan and Tomlin
let me
are buddies.
But that also goes on ownership. I mean, at the end of the day,
True.
Someone's got to be held accountable, and the buck stops with the head coach. I don't disagree with that.
No, the buck stops with Wilkes because they got rid of him, and it's clean slate season according to Jed York.
He's the scapegoat.
Yeah.
I mean, Shanahan's the head coach. He's the one that's going to tell his OC or DC what plays they're going to run or what they're going to do, or if he's going to give them carte blanche to make all the play calls or trust in them. I mean, so it all comes back to him. I get that. But there's 4 quarters in football. Like I said, there's a lot more errors that we can't put it all in the overtime scheme. Now, should things have been said differently and done differently? 100%. But use this example, Smitty. Raj and his boys, if they win the Super Bowl, how many of them are coming back at you and throwing fire at you that you don't know what you're talking about? And you're the dumbest football guy in the world.
Yeah, let me tell you this. I've already talked to my I talked to my boys all day long. If I say that we've had about 700 messages today on our group text, that's probably under. It's probably way over that. But they're having a tough time. There's this is a tough thing. I'm not going to share any of those messages or anything, but I'll just say that, like, they know we've kind of all joked around and admitted that, like, had Mahomes got stopped, let's say Mahomes just accidentally overthrew, Mikkel, and let's say he the next whatever they just didn't convert on that. They got all the way down there, but it wasn't even the Niners that did anything. It was 2 botched throws by Mahomes, whatever, and it ends on an incomplete pass, and the Niners win by 3. Like I said, I even told them, you guys would have been coming for my neck. You would have been coming for everyone's neck. Everybody would have been wrong. Shanahan would have been the savior, and no one would have, not a single person would have analyzed him wrong, and Wilkes wouldn't have been fired. Like, that's where you got to say to yourself, this is a scapegoat move, because if I asked the question, it said, swear on a Bible, Shanahan, if you won the game, would Wilkes be fired? And if Mahomes overthrew, and they ran out of time, whatever, if they went for it and missed, would he be fired? I can guarantee you he would say, no. Like, if he had to answer honestly, it would be no. It would be no. So that's what's so funny, is we're talking about a micro change in the game, one play difference, and he's fired. Or one play difference, and he's a savior. Wilkes' defense is the best ever. Wilkes is going to be so much better next year. You watch this defense. This defense is tough. They held Mahomes. They stopped him in the final drive. We're dogs. Our defense is dogs. That's what you be hearing left and right. Now we're in shambles, and everything's starting to go in shambles because of one freaking play. It really is. One play determined whether this thing was going right or left. And I'm talking about like a deep dive down. It's crazy. It's kind of like fascinating. I've got a psych degree. This kind of shit is right up my alley. It fascinates me. I love this stuff. When something can go that way or this way, just a one measly little thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I say, like, there's more to it than just Shanahan. And look at the defense. The Niners defense played at the end of the fourth quarter. Some say they took the ball because they wanted to give the defense a rest.
Yeah.
Does that matter? Yes and no. I mean, it all depends. But let's all agree or disagree. This was a horseshit Super Bowl. The first three quarters were snoozer. It wasn't even a good game.
The end of the game was interesting, though. I mean,
I would agree with that.
It got amped up in here.
The first three quarters was garbage football.
I mean, at the end of the day, I felt pretty satisfied. But I'm not saying there was a point perps during the game. I said that, like, this is a snooze fest. Like, what are we doing? But by the end of the game, I wet my beak plenty. I was definitely satisfied. But I hear what you're saying, and you're 100% right. I think I said that up until the third quarter. Like, what is going on here? This is like back and forth. No one's scoring. What the hell is going on? It's a low scoring game, and what's crazy though is it had such a good ending that it got right to the over under. It was 47, I think, and it got right to 46 or whatever it was. So that was,
I agree.
That was it got interesting for sure. But you're right. I don't know. Superfish said $5 holler. Mecole Hardman didn't know the game ended either. Mahomes told him in the end zone. That's true. So we could say that maybe Mecole Hardman caught the football, and I don't know. Let's say he did something weird. I don't know. Let's just say he did something weird, like he slid, like a kick a field goal or just something weird. All I'm going to say is, like, we would be saying the same thing about Andy Reid, right? We'd have to, because if Mecole didn't know it and he caught the game-winning touchdown, it's not. You're completely right, Superfish. It is not fair to throw everything on Shanahan on the players not knowing, because Mecole didn't know either. It's a good point, fair point. I'm a fair guy, and that's a fair point. So good one to throw out. But
Smitty, the Niners win. Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
No, I was just going to say, what about that story? I mean, Mecole Hardman's released, he goes to the Jets, and then doesn't do nothing, and Kansas City brings him back, and look at the Super Bowl he had.
That play was that play was an incredible play design. It was like, it wasn't even like it was an unorthodox play design, but they're masters of that. They're so good at it that in last year's Super Bowl, they all lined up on the wrong side and they still scored a touchdown doing those kind of, trips right, sideline type of distractions and almost like a screen. It's almost like a legal pick play. It's crazy. And you got everybody, look, and let me just say this too. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to go out my Niner fan base, but the Niners went hardcore on the Eagles, hardcore on everybody that ended up losing, saying cry, Eagles cry. the Niners have been nothing but posting like, did you see this holding penalty? Did you see this holding penalty? This holding penalty? Like, everybody's going to cry when they lose. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm hearing a lot of it now, and I don't blame anybody, but I'm just saying it was supposed to be this thing where we're not going to cry if we lose. There's nothing but this holding penalty, this holding penalty, this holding penalty. They were the better team. The Niners were the better team. They were not the better team. There's a guy in the live stream. I was on Raj's Instagram live stream that came in and said, I said Mahomes outplayed Purdy, and he's like, Mahomes didn't outplay Purdy. You out of your mind? Started arguing with me in the chat. It's like, Mahomes didn't outplay Purdy. What are you talking about? Did he have 2 touchdowns and like 300 yards and yeah, he had an INT. Purdy didn't outplay Mahomes. What are you talking about? Who won? People are wild, man. People are wild.
Well, that's the second time beaten by KC in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. That's all they ever do. They sit there and they go cry Eagles, cry Dallas, cry, and they're all over all these other teams that are losing. They think they're so entitled. Not all of them.
Not all of them. There's a lot of good, like Blackbeard in here is amazing. Superfish, amazing. We got a lot of good Niner people in here, but I do get ripped apart from time to time.
That makes me just like. I root against San Francisco when I see those type of fans because they're just so, I don't know.
You know, almost like, hey, that's unfortunate that happened to you. We're winning, and then when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh my God, what happened to us? You know, don't you feel bad for us? Like that kind of thing. It's like, I guess it does feel very much like. I don't feel bad for Eagle fans when they lose because of the way they treat other people and other fan bases. And I kind of, like you said, I feel bad for my friends, and I feel bad for Blackbeard, and I feel bad for people. But at the same time, I think you're right. I think that somebody said, Smitty, you had a real KC tone to you the entire live stream. And here you are acting like you're not in favor of KC winning the game. And if I'm being completely honest, if I, ask myself the question, who do I want to win and why might I lean a little way? Maybe it does have something to do with that. And that's probably what it comes from is like, I guess in a way I want to prove that what I've been saying about Shanahan for how many years now is true. And if he wins a Super Bowl, if I'm being completely upfront, transparent, if he wins a Super Bowl, all that gets hidden. And maybe that's why I was a little bit pro KC and not wanting to admit it. I admit that when I look back at a couple clips, I'm like, I do look like I'm totally rooting for the KC Chiefs. And honestly, I probably was. I probably was because of that reason. It's not that I want KC to win because I hate the whole Taylor Swift, Kelsey narrative. And I wanted the Niners to end that. And I did want my Niner friends like C-Mac and Raj and those guys not to, be down and depressed because I feel, even though they would go into me, I even told them today, I go, if the Cardinals lost in the Super Bowl and fell apart, you guys would be trashing the hell out of me. And I'm not doing that to them. And they go, that's damn right, Smitty. C-Mac said they'd be sending me pictures of injured birds and dead birds and stuff like that. I'm like, so maybe I shouldn't feel bad the way that I feel bad because they were like, we would tear into you. And it's like, that's the way that our relationship works. And I think I look out for them too much. Like, so ultimately at the end of the day, I was wanting what I've been saying to not be hidden and have a mask go on it and have Shanahan win and everybody say he's glorious. Like him lucking out with Brock Purdy, and you could say it's not luck, but Brock Purdy developing maybe at the hands of some Shanahan, part Kyle, part, maybe a lot of part, GM Peters, Adam Peters. Adam Peters might have had a heavy hand because he had a lot to do with a lot of later picks all the time. He found Kittle. I think he probably had a lot to do with Brock Purdy. I feel like if Andrews wasn't there to help facilitate getting the right players that are next man up in place, Shanahan would have already been fired. The way he mismanaged Jimmy G and Trey Lance and ruined Trey Lance, he was bailed out by Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is Shanahan's savior. Shanahan would be fired right now if Brock Purdy didn't save him from what unfolded and how he ruined Trey Lance. That's how I really feel. And I think that's why I'm not like wanting to see Shanahan win a Super Bowl so that everybody just acts like none of that happened. You're probably right. I probably did have a little bit of a KC lean. I'm sorry.
You know what? The KC fans don't bother me. They actually
not at all.
They're pretty.
They'll invite you over for dinner. You could wear a Niner jersey and they'd give you a ride home. KC fans are amazing.
Yeah, they're humble. They're humble, but
they're probably cold.
Saying that, Kelsey is a flaming idiot, in my opinion. I can't stand that big ass crybaby. I mean, even when the Steelers were decent and they went to the playoffs and in Kansas City, this is before they got Mahomes, Kelsey was crying after the game. The refs did this, the refs did that. And he's been a crier his whole career. I mean, just look what he did with Justin Tucker. He threw his helmet and just like that before the game. And then look what he does to Reed. I mean, that son of a bitch is an asshole, and I don't have any respect for that son of a bitch at all. He's a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned. I don't care all the talent in the world. Yeah, he has all the talent, but as a person, he's a piece of shit.
All right. Anyway, Ron. David, $20 hauler from David. Full PPR, 1 QB league. Trade Pickens for the 1.11, 2.06, and Bryce Young. Bryce Young and Chase Brown. Thank you. 1 QB. So Bryce Young's not as valuable in a 1 QB. 1.11, 2.06. I don't know. I feel like this move just almost like makes you both worse. I love Pickens, but I don't know that I love Pickens in this situation. And I don't know what you get with the 1.1. It could be a total whiff, or you could land the right player. So tough to say. I'd probably say at the end of the day, I want to lean to the talent of Pickens and hope that like maybe this drought that he's going to be in for a while doesn't last long. But he's also got some, in my opinion, some problems upstairs that he works through. But he's a diva to the extreme, and he's really young, and that concerns me. I guess I'd maybe lean 1.11 if you could move it up a little bit. If you could trade like the 2.6, 1.11, your other second rounder, or maybe you've already got another first rounder, you could trade the 1.11 and a 1.8 and move up to 1.3 or 1.2. I'd maybe do it. But Pickens' talent makes me want to say yes. I just don't know if we're going to see it, because I don't think Arthur Smith allows him to be. Not only does Arthur Smith hold him back like he did Drake London, you have him maybe going nuts on Arthur Smith. You know what I'm saying? Perps, appreciate you. Perps bailed out. Real quickly, DeBalt, make it quick because I got to jump. You're live, pal. Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Okay, well, I'll try to make it real quick, but Smitty, it's not just one thing. It's not just Shanahan. It's a lot of things. It's Purdy can't throw a deep ball. They took away the slant game.
DeBalt. Hold on 1 second. I didn't realize this is a $20 hauler.
Yeah.
David, I'm sorry. David Klein. Thank you, David. Okay, go ahead, DeBalt.
I don't know where it is. So, yeah, it's just a lot of things, man. Watching the game, you know, it's easy to when you're not really interested in either team, you can kind of look at it with a non-biased outlook. And throughout the game, you just saw the Chiefs took away Debo. They took away Ayuk. They said, we're going to make Purdy beat us. They believe he couldn't. He didn't. And CMC did great. 90 on the ground, 50 in the air. He did everything he could. And, yeah, I understand the whole thing with the coaching and the overtime. But the Niners had a chance in the red zone. They couldn't make it. They had to kick the field goal.
Yeah.
CMC came out the game, and you saw it. Third down. He was there on the side, on the bench, crying. Put the towel over his head, crying. He knew. Oh, man, I scored the touchdown. The game's over. He knew. Like, they put in Purdy's hands, and that's what's going to happen. So, Andy Reid is a great coach. Mahomes did what he had to do. You know, to me, there's not much into it. You know, Shanahan messed up. Purdy's not it. CMC did everything he could. Ayuk and Debo got shut down by McDuffie and Snead. And that's it.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Anything else to bolt?
All right, Smitty.
Anything else?
Man, you're great. You know, I can't wait. I can't wait to get into more of the off-season stuff, man. Can't wait for the draft, bro. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate the bolt.
Thanks, Smitty. See ya.
Later. All right, Ron. Any final thoughts? I'll be back.
Yeah, you know,
I'll be back on the Dynasty channel later. Thank you, David.
I missed your show over on Rumble. I was cooking the wife dinner. But anyways, yeah, it's just like, I know I ranted on Kelsey, but deservedly so. I mean, I enjoy, like, Kittle. I love Kittle. Kittle's like, he loves the game. You can tell he loves the game. He plays with so much passion and all that.
Debo too.
And you see him acting crazy, right? He has that character, but he doesn't do the sorry crap that Kelsey does. But he has fun. He has fun with the other team's players. He has fun with his own players. I mean, you know, Kittle's a stand-up guy. I like Kittle a lot.
Yeah. All right, Ron. Appreciate you. I'll see you on the Dynasty channel tonight. All right, later.
Later.
All right, Chad. I'll see you on the Dynasty channel tonight. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Thank you, Perps. Perps being a monster tonight. Perps dropped 1, 2. God, Perps is a monster. Perps to Saturn. Perps to Saturn.
To Saturn.
Would Perps please report to your shuttle? Perps, your shuttle is leaving for Saturn. Please board. Your Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Perps is flying the shuttle to Saturn, I think. Boss Horn Deckard, appreciate your super fish. Appreciate your super. Say word, appreciate your super. Bob, appreciate you. Super fish again. And David Klein dropping a $20 hauler. David, you have a shuttle awaiting the moon. We're sending you to the moon, pal. So, David, please report to your shuttle. I will see you all tonight on the Dynasty channel. Deuces, appreciate you. Later.
Hi, my name is B. John Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring.
But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs's workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a whole of a job. A whole of a job. A whole of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
He does that.